10 years ago, if someone had told me that crucial evidence could age 3 decades in a single night while locked in a climate-controlled police evidence room, I would have laughed at them. Today, after investigating the aging evidence mystery, I understand why some crimes force us to question the nature of time itself. What I'm about to share will make you realize that everything you think you know about evidence preservation, forensic science, and the reliability of physical proof might be dangerously wrong. I'm Daniel McKenzie, and this case taught me that sometimes the evidence itself becomes the biggest mystery of all. Detective Maria Santos had followed every protocol perfectly. The murder weapon, a wooden-handled knife with the victim's blood still fresh on the blade, was photographed, cataloged, and placed in evidence locker 247 at 3:15 p.m. on a Wednesday. The locker was climate-controlled, humidity monitored, and secured with both physical locks and digital tracking. No one accessed that locker for 3 weeks. The digital logs confirmed it. The physical seals remained unbroken. When Detective Santos returned to retrieve the evidence for trial, she opened the locker to find a knife that looked like it had been buried in a basement for 30 years. By the way, everything I'm sharing comes from actual police evidence logs and scientific analysis included in my book, The Impossible Files. 3 independent laboratories studied this evidence aging phenomenon and reached the same impossible conclusion. The wooden handle was now cracked and weathered as if exposed to decades of moisture. The metal blade showed advanced corrosion consistent with 30 years of age. Even the victim's blood had degraded in ways that should take decades to occur under normal conditions. But here's what made this impossible. Only organic materials aged. The plastic evidence bag remained new. The synthetic labels showed no aging. The metal evidence tag looked fresh. Only natural materials, wood, blood, even cotton fibers on the handle had aged dramatically. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, a forensic materials expert, told investigators she had never seen anything like this accelerated aging pattern. It's as if these organic materials experienced 30 years of time while the synthetic materials experienced normal time. The evidence room's environmental controls had functioned perfectly, temperature constant at 68 degrees, humidity at 45%, no power fluctuations, no equipment malfunctions. Every other piece of evidence in adjacent lockers remained unchanged. This wasn't an isolated incident. 6 other pieces of evidence from the same case showed identical aging patterns. A cotton shirt aged from fresh to threadbare overnight. A leather wallet cracked and faded as if decades old. A wooden baseball bat developed the patina of antique wood. This is just one of 16 cases that challenge forensic science in my book, The Impossible Files. Link below. But what makes the aging evidence mystery truly disturbing is how it affects the justice system when evidence literally transforms while in police custody. The defense attorney argued that evidence which ages 30 years overnight cannot be trusted for forensic analysis. How do you date a crime when the physical evidence appears decades older than the crime itself? The prosecution maintained that despite the aging, the evidence clearly linked the defendant to the crime. DNA analysis, fingerprints, and blood spatter patterns remained intact and conclusive. But forensic experts were divided. Dr. Michael Chen from the FBI Crime Lab said the aging phenomenon calls into question our fundamental understanding of evidence preservation and the reliability of physical proof in criminal cases. 3 separate laboratories attempted to recreate the aging conditions. They exposed identical materials to heat, humidity, chemicals, radiation, and every known aging accelerant. Nothing produced the same aging pattern seen in the evidence room. The aging was selective and impossible to duplicate. Carbon dating of the wooden handle showed results consistent with wood that had been cut 30 years ago, not 3 weeks ago. Spectroscopic analysis of the metal corrosion matched 30-year oxidation patterns perfectly. Yet video surveillance of the evidence room showed normal lighting, no unusual activity, no environmental changes that could account for accelerated aging. Universities began studying what they called temporal anomaly, evidence physical materials that appear to experience different rates of time. Theoretical physicists suggested localized time dilation, but admitted this violated known laws of physics. The defendant was eventually convicted based on non-aged evidence witness testimony, DNA from other sources, and digital evidence that couldn't age. But the aged evidence was excluded from trial because courts couldn't determine its reliability. Right now, you can read The Complete Aging Evidence Mystery and 15 other forensically impossible cases for just $2.99. I'm including the actual laboratory reports, carbon dating results, and time dilation theories that explore whether evidence can exist in different temporal states. But I'm raising the price to $9.99 next week because physics departments are requesting this case for their research into time, entropy, and temporal mechanics. Get it now while it's affordable. Police departments across America now photograph and document evidence more frequently because of cases like this. Some departments have installed continuous monitoring specifically to detect evidence aging anomalies. The implications are staggering. If physical evidence can age unpredictably while in secure storage, how do we trust any evidence? How do we determine timelines for crimes when the evidence itself experiences different rates of time? Get the Impossible Files now for $2.99. Link in description. Because once you understand that evidence can age 30 years in a single night, you'll never trust forensic timelines the same way again. And you'll realize why some investigators are quietly questioning whether our understanding of time, evidence, and physical reality itself might be fundamentally wrong.